The blast furnaces at Bethlehem Steel in Pennsylvania have been rusting for over 2 decades. Bringing the U.S. steel industry back to life was one of the issues Donald Trump campaigned on. And just over a year after assuming office, he was surrounded by steel workers as he imposed a 25% tariff on steel imports, 10% on aluminum.
The American steel and aluminum industry has been ravaged by aggressive foreign trade practices. It's really an assault on our country. It's been an assault.
Trump imposed the tariffs unilaterally, bypassing the World Trade Organization, and used a little-known Cold War-era law designed to protect U.S. industries as a matter of national security. Asian and European allies and neighbors all complained. Some got exemptions. China did not. So as the tariffs went into effect, Beijing responded proportionally, imposing tariffs on 128 U.S. products worth about $3 billion, including scrap metal, wine, fruits and ethanol. China also said it would take U.S. actions to the World Trade Organization, as it had done before, when the U.S. imposed tariffs on solar panels earlier in the year. But the big move on trade was yet to come. Back in August 2017, the U.S. had launched a unilateral domestic investigation into Chinese trading practices surrounding technology transfer, intellectual property and industrial policy. When the U.S. unveiled its findings, it was clear that this was not just about the trade deficit, but also a bid to slow China's march to becoming a champion of the industries of tomorrow. The report on China cited Beijing's Made in China 2025 economic plan over 100 times. Then the U.S. published a list of 1,333 Chinese products valued at $50 billion that could be subject to a 25% tariff. Over 100 U.S. trade groups came out against the potential tariffs. Even more followed when China responded, immediately saying it was ready to sanction U.S. exports of pork, planes and soybeans. Seemingly surprised at the speed and depth of Beijing's response, the U.S. president surprised some of his own economic team with this announcement. In light of China's unfair retaliation, I've instructed the U.S. trade representative to consider whether $100 billion of additional tariffs would be appropriate. So now, in all, the U.S. is threatening $150 billion worth of Chinese imports with tariffs. But the U.S. is also looking at imposing more restrictions on Chinese companies wanting to purchase high-tech products in the U.S., invest in the U.S. or purchase U.S. companies. Meanwhile, China says it's sticking to its China 2025 plan, which will involve foreign and domestic companies. China is also detailing plans to further open its vast automobile market so that the U.S. and other car companies can expand without conditions.